Hey, it's me again. Remember Snapchat? The year is 2017, my sophomore year of high school, believe it or not. Everybody was using Snapchat. I was Snapchatting my fucking dog. And while originally made for sending nudes and cheating on your boyfriend, Snapchat was quickly overtaken by Zoomers, who used it for the same thing, let's be honest. I think the combination of like streaks and chats deleting themselves and stories made it maybe the perfect social media app for our goopy little Zoomer brains. And then it like fell off. And people obviously still use Snapchat. I'm not saying it's dead in the fucking water like MySpace is, but we absolutely do not hold it in this like crazy high regard like we used to. I remember a good year of my life where the #1 social media app we were all using was Snapchat. And it was so fucking popular that its older brother, Instagram, started copying its homework. And it wasn't just Instagram either, obviously. Like Twitter fleets, remember those? Dude. Me neither. Snapchat absolutely separates itself from the rest of what I'm talking about today because it feels a lot more like a messaging app than a traditional social media. But you've never known true depression until you've caught yourself doom scrolling on Snapchat news. That place is like the fucking dungeon of social media. I seriously don't think anybody's like meant to be there. It's a grand mix of people you don't care about and stories that don't matter. Let's see what's on my Snapchat news right now. Just list right now. Here's my illustrious screen. I am, of course, a YouTuber. Okay, literally the first thing I see is David fucking Dobrik. Let's see what he has to say for himself.
You are stuck with me.
You are stuck with me. Sounds like a fucking super villain, dude. You are stuck with me. Okay, what else do we have? The downfall of Ted Bundy. Like, what?
When he was pulled over for a routine traffic stop in Utah.
Okay. Okay, then we have this pineapple brat. Who the fuck is this woman? Who the fuck? Let's see what she's up to. Wow. I'm floored. Wait, what the hell was that?
I just copped these new Nikes.
And it's focused on social connections. Snapchat completely ignored like traditional social media content. And it definitely shows. Because while the text-video combination has definitely become a mainstay of Zoomer communication, Snapchat News is the most useless corner on the fucking internet. And oh my god, speaking of uselessness, let's talk about Snapchat streaks. Streaks are kryptonite for white women. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, obviously white women do not have the monopoly on streaks. That was bad, I'm sorry. I went to like an excruciatingly white high school, as you could probably fucking tell. And it was kind of amusing watching Team Crop Top and Jean Shorts were fussed over something so arbitrary. I play video games, okay? I fuss over equally, if not more, arbitrary things. I'm not putting anybody down here. It's a funny concept to talk about. The longest streak I ever had, I'm sinking further and further in this chair as this clip goes on. The longest streak I ever had was for 70 days with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and when I lost it, her wrath knew no bounds. I almost died. It was a situation. Snapchat streaks are maybe the most genius invention of all time, right? Because it takes like no extra work on their part, and it makes us all want to use the app more. Like, it's maybe the most genius social media mechanic like ever. And while I respect it for sure, I'm also so fucking happy that it died with Snapchat. Because with streaks came this like really weird social pressure. Right? This bit is stupid. With streaks came this really weird social pressure to not like be the one that ended the streak, and through this, Snapchat had us all trapped. But all good things must come to an end, and Snapchat is dead now. It's a corpse of what it once was. And while it had a million things going for it, none of us hold it in as high a regard as we used to. And this brings me to my favorite part of Snapchat, because even if it is dead now, we can still remember it through the way that I think it wanted to be remembered. Through Snapchat memories. You want to see something kind of funny?
You ever been on acid?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about.
I'm on it right now.
There you go.
The sexy pose with the long legs.
Why the long face? D tier. It had a hell of a fucking run, man. But I just can't right now, in good consciousness, put it anywhere else. Rest in peace. Snapchat represents this degree of social connection previously unseen in other social medias. There are other apps with messaging capabilities, for sure, but I think everything about Snapchat turned it into this perfect storm to be the way an entire generation of teenagers communicated, me included. And because of this, it's perhaps the least traditional social media-y out of all the apps. I don't have the words, but you get what I'm saying. Like, the lack of like profiles and messaging and like an algorithm kind of transforms it into more of like a messaging app rather than a traditional social media. I'm gonna be arguing in favor of traditional social media in this video, and I don't think my arguments don't really apply to Snapchat as much as these other social medias. And I think that makes it a decent place to start. Instagram, on the other hand, is maybe the most traditional form of social media there is. And when I say traditional, I mean that it has all of the aspects that we collectively associate with social media. You know, that being profiles and likes and comments and algorithms and all of the consequences that come with that stuff. And with consequences, they come. It seems like these days, whenever I'm talking to somebody about the ramifications of social media, it's always with a negative connotation. Like whether they perpetuate harmful beauty dynamics or indoctrinate the youth into like harmful political ideology. Social media seems like it's always getting blamed for something, and for good reason too. It's a terrifying whirlpool of thoughts and opinions that we're all rapidly swirling to the bottom of. Everybody uses social media every single day, right? So its effects on society and psychology and stuff like that are very readily apparent, I feel. And a fuck ton of research has been done on how social media does perpetuate harmful societal dynamics. And fucking random white guy number 437 on YouTube is not going to devalidate any of this research just because he feels different. But with that being said, I feel like it's a lot more nuanced of a conversation than just social media bad. And it's definitely true. It definitely, you know, perpetuates harmful societal dynamics or whatever big words I'm using this video, but it's also an essential web of communication that's like a huge core part of society as we view it today. There are good and there are bad things about it. Like literally everything in life. But whenever I talk to somebody about social media, especially older people, I might add, it really does feel like this whole spectrum of good and bad is ignored for the dominant narrative of social media just does more harm than good. And I'm here to argue that it doesn't. But it low-key might. It might do more harm than good. I don't know. I'm white guy number, what number did I say? 437? I have the self-awareness to admit I'm just some dude on the internet exploring fucking ideas and trying to purposely remove himself from any notions of academia. And maybe that's the best format for learning I don't know. Let's talk about Instagram. What the fuck even is Instagram anymore? What are we all doing on there? Because nowadays it seems like there's two main types of people who use Instagram. You're either like me and you post once a millennium and never use your story and have like 200 followers, or you're like my friend Ava. And even though most of us use it to different degrees, it feels like we all use it for the same two primary reasons. Absentmindedly flipping through friends' profiles and stories, and stalking people we just met to see if they're hot. And if you use Instagram Reels, no you don't. What are you doing on there? It's like, might as well be Snapchat news. It's obviously more nuanced than I'm making it out to be, obviously. But I think the core of Instagram relies on trading social connection for performativity. Based on what I see on the internet and how like all my friends use Instagram, it seems like we all want to look cool on there. And I think this is why Instagram has become the poster child for saying social media is bad. We all want to make sure that people know that our lives aren't shitty and pathetic, even though they fucking high-key are. And when you compare your shitty, sad, pathetic life to this awesome, idealized version of everybody else's lives, it makes you want to fucking kill yourself. This girl's going out with her friends to the club every weekend, bro. And I'm doing that too, but the fun I'm having is immediately devalued in comparison to the fun that she looks like she's having. Because in my mind, the fun that she could be having is so much more fun than I'll ever have. But now I'm aware of this dynamic. I think we all are. And while I certainly felt that way about Instagram in middle school, all of us have lived with it for like a decade now. I feel like we're all aware of the fact that people's Instagram profiles are just idyllic embellishments of their actual shitty lives. And do not get me wrong, we all still want to look so cool on Instagram, right? I still post pictures of myself at the club. I feel like everybody does. But I think the fact that we're all aware that this is a performance now kind of negates a lot of the jealousy and envy we used to feel back in like middle school. For me, Instagram has fallen off a little bit, kind of like Snapchat. It's, you know, it's a shell of what it once was. I still kind of absentmindedly flip through my friends' stories and stuff, but aside from posting my biannual flex, I've completely forgotten about it. But I still feel like I have to use it, you know what I mean? Because everybody else still uses it. If a friend sends me a meme on Instagram, I can't just ignore it. C tier. Nowadays, it's who cares? We don't have any strong feelings about it anymore, and that's perfectly okay. As I have gotten older, I've fallen more in love with Twitter. The way Twitter intrinsically works gives it the opportunity to be the funniest app of all time or the most rage-inducing one. I cannot tell you how many times I've woken up, hopped on Twitter, started my day immediately wanting to kill myself because I see the worst take of all time. And then for the rest of my day, I keep like periodically thinking about how stupid people are and how nonsensical the world is until I see a tweet that's hilarious and I remember that, oh my god, people are smart and funny and I love my friends and my parents and the internet and life and this guy hates a movie I love and I want to kill myself again. And it's this sheer amount of information and opinions being burned into your corneas that I think Twitter gets a bad rep for. Beauty and tragedy and death and destruction and life and a tweet that reminds you that it's a miracle we're all even here to begin with in the first place, and then you see rice gum and you're like, fuck all of this. With Twitter comes the frightening idea of globalization. We've never been so fucking connected. If an explosion happens in Ghana, I can know about it the same minute because it's probably trending on Twitter. It's amazing to me that within the confines of my bedroom, I can praise my favorite rappers and fight with Andrew Tate fans and watch somebody die all within the same 60 seconds. And this is awesome to me. If I had the choice to live in any era of human history so far, I would absolutely choose right now. I would not change a thing. I was born in the right generation. And while I love this world of convenience and hyperconnectivity I've been born into, a 15th century medieval peasant probably had a longer attention span than I did. And who knows? They honestly might have been happier. The 1500s were like pretty shit, but... And this is maybe when the line of thinking goes too far. Because the one true problem that I think social media poses is whether or not we're all happier because of it. And unfortunately, that's an impossible question to answer. Quantifying happiness is a fool's errand, one that's destined to make you unhappy. But a question we can try to answer is whether or not the world's a better place because of social media. Because I've felt angry because of social media. I've felt jealous. I've felt shitty about my own life in comparison to other people's. But I've also connected with people I never would have talked to otherwise. Uber drivers and waiters and people at the club that I've connected with. I've asked for their Instagrams and their Twitters because even if we never talk to each other ever again, the opportunity to is a fucking miracle. All of the jokes and ideas and one-liners that I fucking live by, I never would have seen if I didn't have access to this huge void of content. I don't really know what's going on in this shot. What the fuck are you looking at? I don't care who runs it or if it's currently being set on fire or if it's also a shell of what it once was. I love Twitter. It's the one social media app I've consistently used every single day for the past year. It gives me funnier and more informative content than something like Instagram provides without having to do this whole notion of performativity thing. On Twitter, I can be an anonymous fish in a sea of creatures if I want to, or I can be Finian fucking Walsh. And I don't feel bad about how many Twitter followers I have. But when a girl sees that she has 10 times the amount of Instagram followers I have, I'm like, ooh, I get self-conscious, bro. Even if that number is so much fucking bigger than my Twitter number. Twitter doesn't have the same performativity imbued into its algorithm like Instagram does. And it also isn't really like a soul messaging app like Snapchat is. It's in a shit state right now. But the mindless fun and the randomly dope intellectualism I've gained from Twitter is absolutely unmatched. It's just better than Instagram. I mean, sure, it's for a different purpose, but I feel like the amount of screenshotted tweets that you see on Instagram kind of speaks for itself. A tier. A king among thieves. And a champion of the people. Okay, before I talk about the... before I talk about the big bad social media that you guys have all been waiting for me to talk about, what am I doing? That all video, let's see how a couple smaller ones stack up first. This is kind of a weird one, but like, I included Snapchat, right? Discord has like statuses and group chats and shit. I don't know. Fuck you, it's my video. I actually love Discord. I think it's great. It's like the one way I've reliably played video games with my friends from home still, or watched movies with long distance girlfriends. But then I see people talking on Discord for like all of class. Or like I think about like this weird like Discord mod subsection of Discord and I'm like, what the fuck's going on over there? I feel like every time a famous person gets outed for being like a pedophile on Twitter, all of those logs are like Discord messages. That's not a reason to hate Discord itself, I feel, but I also feel like there's this weird like incel neckbeard vibe imbued into Discord. That's also kind of like on 4chan and Reddit, which need their whole own video, by the way. Maybe this is just me, maybe I'm wrong about this, but like the amount of memes I've seen about like Discord mods and their Discord kittens, or like that Mr. Enter meme, it's just like, what, like, what's going on over there, man? B tier. I don't know, it's got a weird community, but like doesn't everything. Fucking F. Fuck you. Also F to women. Am I not? That's a joke. That's a joke. I buy like drugs on here, so I don't know, like let's just talk about TikTok. Mr. Chew. Mr. Chew, if I have sex with my wife and my phone is on, is TikTok cucking me? TikTok. It's a lot like Twitter, but it hasn't really gotten better as I've gotten older. And I've been using TikTok since the hit or miss days. God, fucking time flies, doesn't it? TikTok has so many different things going on. So I feel like it's impossible to make any sort of like generalization or blanket statement about it. For instance, I was gonna say like, content on TikTok has matured alongside its target demographic, that being my generation. Right? Think about like the hyperactive hit or miss, era of like 2018 TikTok versus like the weird, more cinematic Adult Swim kind of trends going on now. And as Zoomers have gotten older, I feel like the content on TikTok has reflected that emotional growth. And that's both incredibly true and incredibly false. Because while it's true that the trends that I notice nowadays that my generation are partaking in are maybe more like thoughtful from a comedic perspective, the TikTok is still the same void of bullshit it was 6 years ago. There's still like this weird D'Amelio-esque hole of moderately attractive people doing literally nothing. D'Amelio-esque. I'm gonna kill myself. Dude, the live stream trends on there right now are like more ridiculous than ever. For me, TikTok is perfect for short form video content, and the community trying to adapt that to a live stream format, horribly done. It's horrible. TikTok lends itself a lot better to short form video content. And in the sculpture that is our attention spans, I think TikTok has been the biggest contributor in chipping away at it over the past few years. Because I don't know about you, but endlessly shoving 7-second punchlines down my throat has made it insanely hard to read a book. And we love consuming this hyperactive media so much, TikTok can literally, as they've literally implemented features to get you off the app. It's crazy. Like, they're so popular and massive on a global scale that they've literally hired people to tell you to stop using the app. Hold up, you've been scrolling for way too long now. Baby. I spent countless nights in bed with the lights off, doom scrolling, running into those people over and over again. But is it really doom scrolling if I'm laughing every 5 minutes? Because more so than Twitter, I think TikTok is a way to have infinite mindless fun. And obviously it's problematic to have too much mindless fun, but I think now more than ever, we need TikTok. Because everything is given such importance nowadays. You always gotta be on that grind. There's too many things being made, too many people making them. And in this age of hyperactivity and anxiety and comparing yourself to successful people, we need a reliable way to turn our brains off. And obviously you have to live life with your brain on. You'll miss it otherwise. But after day in and day out of writing hyper intellectual academic essays for college and like rationalizing every other thought I have, it's so nice to come home and just reliably shut off my brain for an hour or two. I find incredible solace in it, honestly. And I think we all are aware of how dangerous unregulated TikTok usage can be. And there are absolutely people who sit in bed all day and scroll through TikTok and are depressed, for sure. But I think between me and how my friends and how I've noticed a lot of the internet uses it, we are learning to coexist with this infinite void, even if Congress hasn't. S tier. It's destroyed our attention spans, and we've loved every second of it. So what we learned? Well, once again, jack shit. I've probably confused you more, but isn't that what I do best? I think my thesis in this whole thing is that while social media definitely used to perpetuate a lot more harmful societal dynamics, the self-awareness we have surrounding it now kind of negates a lot of the jealousy and hatred that we felt surrounding it. And even though fucking boomers and Congress are dinosaurs when it comes to this kind of stuff, our younger generation is tech savvy enough to learn to coexist with this kind of stuff. Are there still these ideas of harmful beauty standards? Absolutely. Are these younger kids being harmfully influenced by this new generation of meatheads spitting whatever political ideology is convenient for them? Absolutely. But in the infinite vastness that social media represents, I think those problems are negligible. Because sure, people are harmed by it, but it's only because it's fucking universal. It's everywhere. Everyone who's at least a little bit privileged has the opportunity to use social media. So of course there are going to be negative paradigms reinforced by it. But it's communication, it's globalization, it's entertainment. It's a meaningless vortex of nothingness that's so essential in this world where everything means far too much. Fuck this hat. I don't even need it, dude. I don't even fucking need it. In the 20 odd years I've been around, the amount of social medias that I've seen live and die is crazy. From MySpace to Vine, whole empires have fallen in the span of a few years. I've tried reading this line like 5 times. I'm just gonna read it off of my script. I can't fucking do it. It's a hard one. Because everything moves so fast these days, having a reliable forum to not only idyllically represent one's identity, but to be in contact with all of these other identities is crucial in this horribly dogmatic and hyperactive world we find ourselves in. What the fuck am I on when I write this shit? I don't know. I feel like I should shut the fuck up. I'm only complicating things further. Okay, look, if you leave this video with one thing, I think it should be a greater appreciation for this massive web of communication that we're all stuck in. Because I think it can be used to perpetuate any dynamic you want to, positive or negative. Snapchat fell off. Instagram did too. Twitter and TikTok reign supreme. And never trust how you feel about your life past 9 p.m. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Drop the gym chairs outside, bro. Like the fucking crime scene with the feather, bro. Oh my god. Let's go. Why the camera? Why the camera? Yeah.
It's fucked up. It's like fucking 1987. Like,
What?
cool shot.
Yeah. How's it going, guys?
Hey guys, welcome back to my brand new
Welcome back to my dick sucking tutorial.
Today, you really gotta get in there up on the ball.
Yeah, so like more like a counterclockwise kind of thing.